MJ Movie Reviews back again with an on-the-fly movie review of the newly released 5th sequel in the Bourne franchise. I don't know what number 5 you call it. Jason Bourne, starring Mr. Matt Damon himself and Mr. Grouchy Tommy Lee Jones. Well, of course, let's do a rewind here like I always do to give you some history on how I, as the viewer, the critic, aspiring filmmaker, actor, whatever, is coming in to this 5th film. I go way back with Matt Damon. I remember Matt Damon when I first saw him in a little small dramatic film called School Ties from, I believe, 1992. Starred Brendan Fraser from the Mummy fame. He played a villain in that movie, and he played an anti-Semitic kind of guy. Found out his best friend was Jewish, and he ratted him out because this movie takes place, I believe, during the 50s, I think. And Matt Damon played such a scuzzy little scumbag in that movie that I hated him for years and years. Even after Good Will Hunting came out when I was in high school. Good Will Hunting came out my sophomore year of high school. I was 16. And I liked that film. So, fast forward all the way up. The Bourne Identity came out, I believe, in 2002. So I think it was like I think the Bourne Identity was 2002. My God, I can't remember, y'all. But I think either way, I was about 20 when the Bourne Identity came out. Jesus, guys, I was 20 when the Bourne Identity came out. I'll be 35 in 2 months. I'm sorry, 3 months. I'll be 35. But either way, I was 20 when that original film came out, and that stigma kind of that Matt Damon had from School Ties, I just kind of still just did grow to him, you know. He was just so good in it. And I had seen a little bit of Rounders, but I wasn't really into it like that. I kind of appreciate it now. But either way, I rented The Bourne Identity when it first came to DVD/VHS. Wow, guys, times has changed. But, and I thought it was okay. I thought The Bourne Identity was okay. I didn't think it was all that. Even to this day, I still don't think The Bourne Identity is all that. I just think it's an okay movie. I thought it was okay. The movie kind of woke me up with that cool little fight scene where he stabs the guy with the pen. That was good. And the car chase in that first one, I thought was okay. I mean, people say that it was great and all that. I still to this day and then thought it was just okay. So The Bourne Identity is an okay movie. The Bourne Supremacy, I rented that on DVD. I think I rented it from Blockbusters, and then I eventually bought it when Blockbusters used to sell the refurbished or whatever DVDs. I actually still have it at the house, and I watched it today before I came to see this movie. I really like The Bourne Supremacy. I like The Bourne Supremacy better than The Bourne Identity. I think it's a better movie. I know a lot of people complain about that fight scene with the first agent and the shaky cam. Didn't bother me. I really like The Bourne Supremacy. Bourne Ultimatum, I was in college and I was working at a Regal Cinema, so I saw that for free. I love The Bourne Ultimatum. I love that movie so much. I just think it's awesome. It was the best out of the original trilogy to me. I know some people disagree and say Bourne Identity is the best. I highly disagree. I think Bourne Ultimatum is the best. They just got better as they made each sequel, and I attribute that to Paul Greengrass on 2 and 3. The Bourne Legacy, I know it doesn't star Matt Damon, but it's a part of the franchise. I like Bourne Legacy. I, like everybody else, don't like those kind of gimmicks when they add in other actors and it's the same guy, but it's his brother, or it's the same guy, but he's, you know, I don't like when they do the switch on me like that. But you know, Jeremy Renner doesn't bother me. I like Jeremy Renner, so you know, the Bourne Legacy I like, and I thought it had some cool fights in it, and I like some of the action. What I will give Bourne Legacy over this movie is that at least from what I remember, there's no like erratic shaky cams during the fight scenes, and I really think there's one cool little fight in Bourne Legacy I like, where it's like in the house and like he goes up and climbs in and he slides down. I thought that was a cool little fight. And I actually say I enjoy the action in Bourne Legacy more than I enjoy the action in this film, Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne, so look, either way, I don't hold the Bourne franchise to be this magnificent action classic franchise. I really like 2 and 3, and 1 is okay, and I like Bourne Legacy. I like overall, 2 and 3 are just the pinnacle to me. So I like the films. This movie, sadly, I was hearing the reviews that people were kind of saying that it wasn't that great, and I'm sorry to add my contribution, guys, but I gotta keep it real. It's really honestly not that good. It's really only okay. It's really only okay, and I'm being honest, it's barely pushing okay. Basically the issue with the film is digressing. When you come into stuff like, people for many years complained that Bill Murray should have did Ghostbusters 3, blah 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 blah. Long story short, there's a reason sometimes you leave things be and don't go back to them. Jason Bourne is a prime example. There was no story to tell here. They reached very, very, very to the bottom level to come up with a story for this, and the story wasn't that good. And another point that I've seen from other reviewers on YouTube is that there's a point where the fine Julia Stiles herself, with her little cute Save the Last Dance self, comes to Matt Damon, Jason Bourne, and says, hey, I got some info, you need to check this out. Okay, so the movie starts out on this info that she needs to get to. It takes a very long ass time to even find out what that is, and that's the thing. The plot of this movie is threadbare. Like, what I really liked, and even in Bourne Legacy, you're kind of finding out information as the movie is going on. You're finding out people's true motivations. It's unraveling. You're finding there's a clue. You find out something. It moves like that. This film is solely based on her clicking on a file and saying to Jason Bourne, there's something you need to read. So he needs to figure out why he needs to read it. And the movie is just going on that through line of he needs to figure out why he needs to read it. Tommy Lee Jones goes, we don't want him to read it, so we're going to send people after to kill him. And it just keeps going like that. And it's just like, and here's my thing. I would have been okay with that if even the action was really cool and there was a lot of action and Matt Damon didn't look bored. But it's the fact that, and I love Matt Damon now. Matt Damon won me over with Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum. And then when he did The Departed, I was like a Matt Damon cheerleader after he did The Departed. I love Matt Damon now. And it was The Departed that I love the guy. But you can really tell, I don't know if he really wanted to do it. I mean, this movie is pure fan service. But I tell you what's going to happen. Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass said people have been begging him for years to make it. They made it. It's not that great. So, what's going to happen now is you're already seeing that people are already complaining that it's not that great. But the flip side of it is that, you all have been asking for another Bourne movie for years, and Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass have been saying over and over again that they don't want to make another one. There's no story to tell. But you guys just kept asking for it. You know what I mean? You just kept asking for it. You didn't stop. You got it. And what you got is a very mediocre movie. Bourne, and I might get slapped for saying this, but Bourne Legacy is better than this movie, guys. I know that's a tough thing to say, but it is, And that movie was reaching for straws its own self, And that's the thing. It's not action-packed. The Bourne movies were never action-packed to begin with, but at least there was some intrigue to counterbalance before the action came. Here, I can be honest, I kind of nodded off a little bit here and there. And then, as you're going on this through line about this information that Jason Bourne needs to find out, they introduce this other thing with some guy who owns like some kind of internet company and people's information. And it's just like, for me, I just started getting lost. Like, what the hell is going on? I couldn't figure out how this connected to the assassination little program that Jason Bourne volunteered for. And then it goes off of Jason Bourne's mission. It goes to this other side thing, and it tries to meld the two together. I still don't see how the two came together. Maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comment section. I didn't see it. So in this meantime, you're just getting a bunch of people walking around, clicking files. There's little action beats here and there. And here's the one thing. The shaky cam in 2 and 3 did not bother me. But then again, I didn't see Supremacy at the theater when it came out. You know what I mean? Because I only thought the first one was okay. So I didn't see Supremacy at the theater. So the shaky cam didn't bother me. The shaky cam in Bourne Ultimatum didn't bother me either. I thought it was just enough. Here, the shaky cam is like Alex Cross level. I mean, it's really bad. Like, and the action is not even particularly that great. The fight scenes, I'm gonna go in how they go in order. Okay, the opening fight scene on the little trailer where he punches the guy, and another YouTuber pointed this out. They show that one punch from a different angle. They show it from behind him, so there's no impact. I'm just like, are you serious? And there's another thing, they cheated us too. And I've been a stickler about this since I was a kid. When they take deleted scenes and put them in the trailers and then it's not in the movie. They did that here. There's a scene in the previews where like Matt Damon takes a shotgun and like blows out the window and then shoots at a car. It's not in the movie. That's a cheat, man. I hate when they when they do that. Robert Rodriguez said on his commentary From Dusk Till Dawn, he doesn't like to do that to his audience. That's a cheat, man. That pisses me off when they do that. I hate that. But the shaky cam here is ridiculous, man. There's maybe, honestly, throughout the whole movie, I think there's 3 fights. There's 2 little bootleg ones where he disarms some people. And I'm saying even the fights look lazy. Like Matt Damon just comes in and goes, psh, and one hit, the guy's knocked out. I'm like, what? Like, no type of technique, no type of snapping it, nothing. One punch, he's down, and the camera goes all like that. I mean, real bad shaky cam, y'all. I'm not BSing. I mean, the shaky cam in this, it's almost like they listened to what people said from the first one and said, oh, you guys really hated that? Well, we'll give it to you worse. It's bad. Then there's one on the previews where they show him breaking the arm of the table, the leg of the table off and hitting the guy with it. That fight scene is 2 seconds, and it's not even. That literally is the finishing move of the fight. Matt Damon like ducks, he gets hit with a dumbbell, he breaks the thing, go, psh, fight's over. I'm like, oh God, you gotta be kidding me. The final car chase or whatever, because all these end with a final car chase. The shaky cam just kills it. The shaky cam just kills it. I will say there's some cool beats where like Matt Damon like hops a curb. Like when the car like hops the curb, I was like, damn, that was kind of. I didn't even feel the action was exciting in this. When he hopped the curb, it kind of brought me alive. I was like, yeah, that was badass. And they've been showing the finishing move of the action sequence where the car goes on top of the truck, and then there's a scene where like he's like catapulting all of these cars. That was cool. The shaky cam ultimately kills it. And the final fight between Matt Damon and the main bad guy. And first of all, I gotta say, the main bad guy, this dude is Tommy Lee Jones is the villain, but the main like assassin bad guy, he's too old. I did not believe for one damn minute that this dude, Matt Damon, although Matt Damon is 45, he's still young enough to get the upper hand on this dude. I get it, they're assassins, but even I don't know. I didn't join the military. I could be wrong, but I still just didn't believe that this guy could have took Matt Damon. But I will give it the final fight between Matt Damon and the other assassin guy was good, but again they just went. Oh God, it went so. The only reason I like the fight is because it's brutal. I mean, it's very, very brutal. I mean, it's a very tough fight. Again, somebody tries to strangle Jason Bourne with an extension cord, and I don't know. It's very effective. Like when because Jason Bourne seems to really have the finishing move of strangling people, and it's very, 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 very effective. So I will give it. I really like that final fight. I like that final fight. Too much shaky cam, but it came alive with that final fight. That was good. And I will say Matt Damon does a lot of kind of Jet Li, Kiss of the Dragon, Romeo Must Die style acting in this movie where he's just kind of looking around, and Matt Damon does that well. The thing is, I expect a little bit more from Matt Damon than that. But I will say there's a scene where between Tommy Lee Jones and Matt Damon that's really good. If that's another scene where it came alive. When Matt Damon actually emotes and figures out why he's back on his mission again, that was where the movie should have stayed. If they could have extended those moments where he's really emoting and, why'd you do this to me? I was with it. You know, and if the action would have been more like that final fight scene, and I think maybe that's what they should have did. They should have had more. They maybe should have made Jason Bourne emote a little bit more in this movie and give him some heavier emotions, because when you figure out why Julia Stiles passed this information on, some pretty heavy information. So they should have extended that. They should have dumped that stupid internet plot and extended this whole little dynamic that I will not give away for the movie. But I think they should have extended that. They should have made the fight scenes they should have been more action, and they probably should have made the movie shorter, because Bourne Ultimatum I think was like an hour and a half. Maybe that would have been the route to go. I don't know. And I think they should have just made the action way more brutal and took away the shaky cam. That's another thing that they put in the previews. There's supposed to be a part where like Julia Stiles and Matt Damon are on the motorcycle and somebody shoots a missile at them. That's not in the movie either. Like, man, that's a cheat, man. But I mean, this is really just a pointless exercise. Action isn't that great. There's too much shaky cam, and there's no story. And when you got the caliber of actor, like when you got these type of actors, and when you got Paul Greengrass, you know, and you got fluff, and it's boring fluff, you know, boring, pointless fluff, which is kind of what I call Jason Bourne, you know. So I'm sorry to say, guys, this is it's only okay. It's barely just pushing okay, and I gotta admit, a lot of it I was bored. I'm sorry to say, breaks my heart to say it, because I know they probably worked really hard, and Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass and Universal, I mean, everybody was begging them, so they gave it to them, and you know. But I will say, for the people who've been begging them for years, don't go complaining. You better love this shit. You know, I for one was fine with what we got. I think Bourne Legacy could have been the last one, but and they're leaving the door open for another one. I think after this, it will not happen. The show was sold out. It was packed. I did not see people jumping for joy when the movie was over. I did hear one lady in the back go, "That's it?" So this is the end of the Bourne franchise. This typically happens. This movie will probably make good money, but I don't see it. It's just not going to be out there that long. So thumbs up my video, subscribe to my channel, share the video, and leave comments down below about Jason Bourne, you know, and how you feel about the other movies. My next movie reviews, they are going to start airing twice a week now. I'm going to air one on Thursday, and then the next one will be on Saturday. So from now on, my movie reviews will be coming on Thursday and Saturday days. So come back, same RMJ time, Thursday and Saturday. RMJ movie reviews. I will see you all soon.